how, like, you know, the global
My name is Markiplier, and today I want to talk
got a lot of
about
messages from you guys that have been
coronavirus.
affected by all this corona stuff.
Elon Musk says that he's tested positive for the coronavirus.
Vaccinated no later than May 1.
Fears of a spring break surge.
Case?
Hey everyone, doctor.B here, and today we will talk about the 2020 trend, the most popular thing in the last several months, the thing that flipped the stock market, paralyzed the global economy, and obligate the whole population to stay home, work from home, study from home, and do everything from home. Its influence is present in every detail in our actual life. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing that destroyed our 2020 resolutions. Welcome with me, the one and the only coronavirus, cov-19, SARS-CoV-2. Let's go. I know that it's too late to speak about this subject, and nearly everyone on social media talked about it. Even children knows about it more than the majority of people before the pandemic. And to know me more, you have to understand that the story is the priority for me. And today, I have a pretty nice story for you, my dear. Because we will have many guests in this episode. And please, a disclaimer. I highly suggest you to put on your mask and wash carefully your hands. Because today's guests are the whole coronavirus family. Yes, one virus isn't enough. I have to understand and to see the whole family members to have a wider look about this small tiny killer. Firstly, this guy belongs to the coronavirus family, as everyone knows. Not a royal family, but its appearance and spikes are like a crown. It's a family of RNA viruses in the nidovirus order. And to clarify it, nidovirus is an order of RNA-positive enveloped viruses. And because I want you to understand every detail in our story, RNA, or ribonucleic acid, is a polymeric molecule essential in biological operations, like the regulation and expressions of genes. And by the way, the coronavirus family has the largest RNA genome known. I don't understand why I think that viruses too live in social differences. Just think with me. Coronavirus with a luxurious name, a very big impact, and everyone is talking about this phenomenon. On the other hand, just look at the Ebola. It's almost forgotten right now. Just look at his strange name, strange shape. We have to stop this. Moreover, this family have 4 classifications: Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta. And human coronaviruses are Alpha and Beta coronaviruses. These classifications helps us to know the features of the corona family, or otherly said, of the corona family members. Wait, there is more. There is more. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. It appears in 2020 and probably was occurring before. It seems to have started in the Guangdong province in China, and it's a beta coronavirus. It was transmitted from bats to civets to humans. It begins in 2002 and lasted till 2003. Causes more than 8,000 cases, 774 deaths, and a fatality rate of 10%. Wait, doctor.B, why you fastly shifted to the SARS? Weren't we talking about the cov-19? Firstly, let me tell you that you are a great listener, and the best way to respond is to listen very well. But you missed something. Don't you remember that we said that the SARS-CoV-2 is the scientific name of cov-19. So my dear, let me surprise you and rise your adrenaline levels a little bit and tell you that the SARS is the ancestor of cov-19 and it have another big brother. Wait, there is more. The Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS. This killer appears in 2012 in Saudi Arabia, and it's a beta coronavirus as well, and was transmitted from camels. It causes around 2,400 cases, 858 deaths, and a fatality rate of 35%. 35%. And as you already expected, is the highest fatality rate in the world. Of the infected people will die. And fortunately, it wasn't as contagious as the cov-19. And finally, we have the 2019 novel coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2. A cute small baby in his family, but a monster for humans. It's a beta coronavirus and has many similarities with the SARS. There was an animal market that seemed to be the source of this outbreak, with around 2 to 3% of fatality rate. But this time, cov-19 learned from his older brothers and figured out how to spread faster and to be present in every place in our world. Wait, there is more. In 2019, Chinese authorities notified the World Health Organization (WHO) that a suspicious virus was spreading in the Hubei province, and by the time it appears in other countries, and the growth was in an exponential growth. It has one mission: damaging your respiratory system. It attacks primarily your throat and lungs, and it doesn't need to enter to the cell nucleus like other regular flu viruses. It can directly access parts of the host cell. It connects to a specific receptor to inject its genetic material, and the cell turns to a factory to make more copies of the same virus. You see? It's just mind-blowing. And when it reached its critical point, boom! It turns to the self-destruction mode. And the virus particles are released to attack more cells. And it will continue in this cycle till the last living cell in your body. It's actually like a zombie. It infects a friendly cell, and the friendly cell became an enemy. Wait, there is more. The number of infected cells have an exponential growth, which means from thousands to millions in a very short period of time. Cov-19 case, the immunity system can have a very dangerous effect against us, because in some cases the immunity response is so brutal. Friendly cells, and this unfortunately might lead to a permanent damage, but in most cases our immunity gained the war and our body right back to balance. Is the recovery phase. Wait, there is more. Now we will talk about the main subject and the reason why we live actually in a world dominated by Corona. It took control of Earth and deserves its name as a king because of its tremendous influence. The source of this outbreak is so important because it gives us a lot of information and can help us to avoid it in the future. Because everyone on earth, we don't want to live in the same experience again. And here comes the most important part for me, the source. Because if you know the source of the coronavirus family members and other viruses, you'll understand that the common point is animals, and the keyword is mutations. Source came from the same place like cov-19. It emerged at a very similar market in southern China and reached 29 countries, killed more than 800 people. And after 18 years, cov-19 is present in every place in our world with more than 100 million infected. Wait, there is more. Why China is a source of many viruses? And the answer is animal market. So, to understand this huge industry of wildlife trade, we need to see the situation of Chinese people in the 1917s. Famine had killed more than 36 million, and the country's reserves of food aren't enough to feed more than 900 million people. It was so near to 1 billion. And to solve this problem, Chinese authorities allowed private farming. Yes, farming in China wasn't allowed for everyone. And here's began the problem. Because some animals started catching wild animals to make a sort of a wildlife market. You'll ask me again, why wild animals? Listen to me, my dear friend. When private farming was allowed, small farmers weren't capable to compete giant companies because they controlled the food essentials. So, to resist, they turned to wild animals like turtles, bats, and many more animals, because wildlife was considered as a natural resource. In addition to that, by time, a huge industry was rising, and this time, the quantity and diversity of animals are in another level, and bats are a host of a lot of viruses because their immune system can deal with them. The main problem is mutations, because mutations leave us in a very dark place, because we don't know how the virus will be in the future, and this problem will lead to a lack of information. And with this lack of information, we don't know if our vaccines will be efficient or not. And we talk about the animal market because the diversity and the overall climate where these animals are placed could be perfect for mutations and viruses transmission. So, as a consequence of the structure of wildlife markets, cov-19 had many mutations. And here's why we should avoid these types of behaviors, specifically with wild animals, because we haven't enough information to predict future virus mutations, and indirectly we can make a perfect climate to rise a virus with a lot of mutations. And finally, we now know the story of this microscopic killer. And I have a very nice surprise for you, because the next video will be about vaccination and how we discovered this great tool to save millions of lives. So make sure to subscribe and share everywhere. Like the video if you like it, and always remember that knowledge is your real treasure.